Hey everyone, Riley Sironen here. He, him, his, or they, them, that's not my pronouns. I don't even know what my pronouns are. Hey Internet, Riley Sironen, he, him, his, or am, airs. Yes, you did hear kind of a funky pronoun in there. I did change my pronouns. I wasn't really feeling they, them, theirs anymore, though I still respond to those pronouns and do not mind them. I kind of feel I identify more with am, airs, and for me that's just because the feeling of they, them, theirs sometimes kind of feels like, if for people who don't understand them, kind of dehumanizes me. So am, airs are kind of pronouns that still make me feel that you are still seeing me as a human, as you would normally use he or she. And thinking about the use of those, just think of they, them, theirs, but taking off that th. So anyway, there's that. Today I just want to talk about the dating life for trans people. It's different for each person because it depends on how you identify with your gender identity and also with your sexual orientation. But I think there's a few things we can agree upon in the community. So to start out with, I am newly single. And so this topic has been coming up quite often just amongst friends and family, just kind of discussing what that dating pool kind of looks like for me, because I was lucky enough with my last relationship to date a trans person, and so I didn't really have to deal too much with that thought of like, okay, how do I interact with this person? Are they going to be weirded out when I tell them I'm trans, or tell them that I'm asexual, or tell them that I'm queer? Because it was kind of those things that we shared. We shared the trans umbrella label, we shared the asexual umbrella label, and so there was a lot of identities that we shared within that, so it wasn't something I really had to worry about. Now looking at my dating pool now, it's kind of something that kind of freaks me out. One of the questions I was asked is, when do I tell the person I am dating I am trans? Well, for me it's going to be different than someone else who typically passes rather well or can be stealth about their trans label. For me, I would probably tell the person probably right off the bat, because society generally sees me as female even though I don't identify as so, and so it's quite obvious that I don't look the part that I identify as. So probably right away when meeting the person, it would be kind of a conversation of, hey, you know what, I am trans, this is something I want you to be aware of. My pronouns are he, him, his, or am, airs, and that's something that's going to have to be cohesive between us. And thinking just about that, I would want the person that I'm going on this date with to know right away, in case they are transphobic, or they could come off as saying transphobic things if they aren't knowledgeable. If they are trans friendly, are trans open-minded, then obviously it's something I can work with, and just seeing how much, because it also depends how I mesh with the person, just like any other dating pool would be. So yeah. The thought of me being asexual, having that lack of a sexual drive, probably wouldn't come into play until I become more serious with the individual. Again, it probably would just depend on preference and how comfortable I feel with the person. Another thing I get asked a lot is who I would date. Obviously, the ideal, I think, for me would to be dating a trans person or a non-binary person, just because those are two labels that I identify with. And so I would already be dating someone who understands me, who knows what I'm going through, and would be there for moral support and mutual understanding. But I mean, I'm not closed off to dating cis men and cis women. I definitely would like to have a relationship with one or the either, because that would be awesome, to date someone who does not identify as trans but still is there to be that support for me. I think that'd be really cool, actually. Thinking ahead, I don't know what I would prefer, to be honest. It's just something you kind of start to notice when you are in that dating pool of people. I was talking to a friend earlier, and it's just, you kind of start to pick up on people's lingo, and you kind of just start to learn how trans friendly people actually are. So I because I am trans, I easily can pick up when someone is using exclusive language, even if they don't realize it. One example that I came up with is how often gay cis dudes, talk about dicks, and how often they talk about how they are repulsed by the female anatomy. And now that's obviously a stereotype that a lot of gay men then generally fit into, but that's also exclusive to me. I don't have a dick, I don't plan to have a dick, and it's also, I do have female anatomy that I don't, as of right now, plan on getting rid of. And so it's that's very exclusive to me, and it comes off as actually really transphobic because now I'm totally off your radar. If I am attracted to you, there's really no point in me pursuing you because you're not going to be attracted to me, because we are such a sex-based culture that the first thing you're going to think is, oh God, what am I going to do with those? And it's just kind of a fact that it's often safer to date a trans or non-binary person because of that. Also, when it comes to females, there's a lot of things that females say of like, oh, I'd be totally gay for her, or saying things just of that sort. And it's very, in that way, it's transphobic, and it's also homophobic to say I would be gay for her. Like, why do you have to be gay for her? Why can't you just date her? Or just openly admit to the world that you're either bi or pansexual? It's just kind of those things that we think about in our culture that we say a lot of things that we don't actually think about. I know also it can be very transphobic and very scary for trans women, even scarier for them, because in that sense, when a gay dude is talking about how much they like dick, but they're also saying how much they like men, it's being then transphobic to that trans woman who may have a dick, but does not identify as male, so now she is off your radar. And it's same with women. They don't want to date a woman, but they want to date someone who has a penis, and so where does that trans woman fit, per se? Because now she has those qualifications you are looking for, but she also identifies as a woman, and so that is unfair to her. I know also I've had crushes on people who often misgender me, and it's not because, not necessarily because they're not trying or they're not aware of my identity and it was a mistake. It's also quite the turnoff if the person I'm interested in is constantly misgendering me and not being able to see who I truly am. There's a point in time where mistakes just become too much. It's especially really hurtful if I met you as Riley, if I met you with he, him, his, or air pronouns. I'm not really understanding or grasping where you are getting this idea that I am at all female, even though by society's norms, yes, I am female, my body is female, my voice is female, I do look feminine. You did not meet me as so I'm not really understanding where you're seeing that. When we're looking at online dating, it is really scary and actually something that I don't do personally, because a lot of times people accuse you of lying to them. I know there was various times last year I tried online dating and it just did not go over well because many people did not understand or grasp the concept that I was trans. I would talk to gay dudes and they'd be like, what does trans mean? I am not your Google search engine. If you don't know what trans means at this point in time, you should probably just look it up yourself, because I'm not going to explain it to each individual person I come into contact to. Obviously, I'm always willing to answer questions, but if you don't know what trans is at this point, that's a little concerning on my end. Also, the last time I tried internet dating, a cis man contacted me and said that he wanted to have sex with me because he liked men who had pussies. And first of all, that's a disgusting word, and second of all, that's really offensive because I am a human, I am not a fetish. If you take anything away from this vlog today, trans people are not fetishes, they are just human beings like you. Again, this comes from our sex-based culture, and also comes into conflict with me because I don't fit into that sex-based culture norm because I'm lacking that sex drive. It's just a very interesting concept. So the dating pool for me is just very all over the place. I am interested in cis women, cis men, trans men, trans women, non-binary people. I mean, we all have our standards and what we're actually interested in, so obviously I wouldn't just date anyone because I am under that queer umbrella. But that is where the word queer comes into play for me, because for me, I use the word queer for my sexual orientation identifier because I know it's going to be inclusive to whoever I date. It will be inclusive to that cis woman I date. It will be inclusive to that non-binary trans person that I date. Regardless of my partner's gender identity, sexual orientation, pronouns, or anything of that sort, queer is going to be inclusive to them, and is why I choose it as my identifier. And queer, I just feel, is more inclusive also to those asexual, aromantic identifiers as well. So I hope you all have an awesome day. I hope I answered some questions that you might have had about the trans dating pool and what that kind of looks like for me. Again, it's different for each individual person and how they kind of identify with that, but that's what it kind of looks like for me. I hope that answers any questions you might have had, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And good luck with finals, because those are this week, and they are being a pain in the butt. I feel that. So, yeah, have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time.